I want to tell you guys about making homemade pizzas. Trust me, it can go horribly wrong. I'm sure you guys have seen the new idea about cauliflower crust to try to, make pizza a little bit healthier. Well, I've tried it, and let me tell you, it is a horrible idea. I have been making homemade pizzas for my family every Friday night for almost 6 years now. We've tried thin crust, thick crust, stuffed crust, the cauliflower crust, and whole wheat crust. But we have finally created the perfect recipe for a perfect homemade pizza, and I'm going to share my secrets with you. First, you need to remember that the perfect pizza is all in the details. So today we'll go over the 3 main points of making a perfect homemade pizza. First is prepping the dough. Second is assembling the toppings. And third is baking it to perfection. So let's start first with preparing the dough. First, when we're buying your ingredients, you need to remember that you need to get a high gluten flour because it creates stronger bonds in the dough. So first you're going to put together your yeast, sugar, and water and let that bubble. And then you put that in your bowl and you mix up every other ingredient. So that's the flour, the oil, real garlic, that's important, and some salt. Then after you get it all mixed up so that it forms a little bit of a ball. It can still be a little bit messy and discombobulated, but you take it out and then you knead it by hand for about 5 minutes using fists, and you're pushing your dough into the rest of the dough. So you take it out from the outside and you push it down with your fists. Then you start rolling out your dough with a rolling pin. You start in the center and you roll it out just a little bit on every side. And then when it gets about the size of a personal pizza, about this big, then you transfer it over to your pizza stone, which I like to put a little bit of cornmeal on the bottom, but not everyone likes that gritty taste on the bottom, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Then you want to keep rolling it out so that it fits the size of the pizza dough. But when you're rolling it out, you want to make sure that you start from the middle like we did before, but when you get to the ends, you don't want to roll it all the way off the pizza, because if you roll it all the way off, then it pinches the dough against the pizza stone, and then it prevents you from getting a nice plump crust. So that's the dough. So next step is assembling the toppings. So you want a good sauce on the base. Most people think that you need a ton of sauce, but for a regular sized pizza that fits a stone, you really don't want more than like 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup. You really don't need very much sauce. If we all know Pizza Hut uses a lot of sauce, and it's not good. So next, you want to have a blend of cheeses. You want to mix a whole fat and a low fat cheese. And the reason we mix it is because the whole fat gives a crispier texture when it's baking. And that is what makes the pizza so great. So you want to mix it up just a little bit. And then when you're putting on your toppings, no matter what you're putting on, you want to be a little bit more methodical about where you put them. Because we all know that when you're picking the piece of pizza from the entire pie, that you want the one with the most pepperoni and the most sausage, the most bell peppers. You want the piece that's just got everything. So you just want to make sure that you make it, even if it looks, like perfect, like it was like a picture, like it doesn't matter. You want it so that when you slice it, that you don't have to cut through the pepperoni or cut through the mushrooms, whatever. So, and for me and my family, we like to do mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, sausage, and pepperoni. Those are our favorite. But occasionally we like to make the barbecue chicken pizza like at CPK as well. Then for the third point, we bake to perfection. So what you want to do before we even started, then we want to preheat our oven at 425, and we want it to be working at that heat for about an hour before we put the pizza crust in. So you want to do it about 45 minutes or 30 minutes before you start doing your dough. So then once we're all done with the pizza, then we bake it for about 12 to 15 minutes, and we wait until the cheese gets nice and brown and bubbly. And that's where that whole cheese comes in, because that's what creates the brown and the bubbles, and it's just really good. And then when it's all finished, you take it out and you just do like a quick sprinkle of salt on the top, because it just gives it that nice finishing taste, but not too much, like maybe like 1/4 of a teaspoon, so like not even a pinch. Then we're all finished and you can eat your pizza. So just remember, the perfect pizza is all in the details. And don't forget the key points. It's prepping the dough, assembling the toppings, and baking it to perfection. We all know how delicious a perfect piece of pizza pie can be. Hot, cheesy, and crisp. Take it from me that you don't want to try anything too far out there. Pizza is good, just the way it was created. It's plain and simple.